All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're taking a deep look at a memoir that's so much more than a memoir, it's a genuine cultural phenomenon. We're talking about Michelle Obama's Becoming. This is the story of a journey from a small apartment on the south side of Chicago all the way to the White House, and it's all built on one single powerful idea. And this right here, this is the heart of the entire book. This one concept, that your story is yours, it's this precious thing you possess and get to shape. This idea of ownership is the thread that pulls us through every single part of her life. So let's start at the beginning. Part 1 of the book is called Becoming Me, and it takes us right to her childhood on the south side of Chicago. This is where we get to see the values and the family that built the foundation for the woman she was going to become. Now, these were basically the rules of the house. So simple, right? But think about how profound they are. They were like the code she lived by. Her dad, Fraser, was all about that first line, integrity, hard work. And her mom, Marion, championed the second, independence, speaking your mind. That combination, it created this incredible bedrock for her entire life.
And I just love this line because it says so much about her upbringing. You know, they didn't try to quiet her down or make her fit into some box. They saw that she was feisty, that she was determined, and they saw it as a strength. They didn't put that flame out. They protected it. They nurtured it. And that fire, well, it pretty much defines her.
So with those values packed in her suitcase, she begins this incredible journey. I mean, look at this path. From a super tight-knit community in Chicago, she makes this massive leap into the Ivy League. And at places like Princeton and Harvard, she's suddenly in a totally different world, navigating all these complex issues of race and class, all while trying to climb that traditional ladder of success.
Okay, so that brings us to Becoming Us, and this is where the story really starts to pivot. Because on paper, Michelle has done everything right. Princeton, Harvard, a fancy job at a law firm, check, check, check. But she starts to get this feeling, this nagging question, is this the right path for me? And, well, you can probably guess who she meets right around this time.
You gotta love this. So she gets a memo that she's supposed to mentor this new summer associate, this guy Barack Obama that everyone is just raving about. And she is completely skeptical. She'd seen it before. As she puts it, you put a suit on a smart black man and some people just go nuts. She was not buying the hype, not one bit. But then, the first date, and all that professional skepticism just melted away. A day filled with art and deep conversation, and then the detail everyone remembers, a first kiss outside of Baskin-Robbins. It was at that moment she decided to just, quote, stop thinking and just live. It was a huge shift from her usual, super planned out approach to life.
But even as her relationship with Barack was taking off, she was having this serious crisis about her career. And this quote, wow, it's just a punch of pure honesty. She had achieved everything she was supposed to want, and yet she felt empty. Admitting that she'd taken the wrong road, that was a huge, brave first step toward a completely different life.
And that pivot puts her on a path to the biggest stage in the world. In the third part, Becoming More, we get a front row seat to what it's like to live under that intense public spotlight, and how she had to fight to define her role as First Lady completely on her own terms. And that spotlight was, frankly, brutal. Almost right away, she gets hit with this angry black woman stereotype. It's this tired, damaging cliche, and she describes it as a trap, a way to shrink her down, to dismiss her voice before she even had a chance to use it. It was a really painful challenge right at the start. But then there's a breakthrough. She realizes she can't win by trying to be someone she's not. The only way forward was to just be herself, a working mom from Chicago who didn't take herself too seriously. And the second she embraced that, everything changed. She felt this, as she says, new ownership of her voice. She wasn't just borrowing it, it was hers. And once she found and owned that voice, look at what she built. These initiatives weren't just random policy ideas, they came from her heart. They were all extensions of her own life and her own values, from gardening and healthy eating to supporting military families and fighting for girls' education. This was her story in action. Okay, so we've walked through the journey. Now it's time for our final verdict. Let's break down what really makes this book tick, what its core message is, and what we think its greatest strengths are. So the main idea, well, it's right there in the title, isn't it? Becoming. The whole point is that life isn't about reaching some finish line where you're finally done. It's a constant process of evolving, learning, and yes, rewriting your own story as you go. You're never finished becoming.
So, how does it stack up? Well, the strengths are just immense. The tone is so honest and relatable, it makes a global icon feel like someone you know. The storytelling is just fantastic. The only real food for thought is that this is deeply a personal memoir. If you're looking for a book about policy debates and political strategy, this isn't it. It's laser focused on her journey. For its masterful storytelling, its incredible vulnerability, and its undeniable cultural impact, we are giving Becoming a final grade of 9 out of 10. It is an absolutely exceptional book. And if you read Becoming and you're thinking, okay, what's next? We've got a couple of ideas for you. First, Educated by Tara Westover, which is another stunning memoir about a woman forging her own path against all odds. And also My Own Words by the late, great Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for a look inside the mind of another history-making icon. And that brings us to our last section, and really, the final lesson of the book. It's the ultimate takeaway that Michelle Obama leaves us with, and it brings us full circle, right back to where we started. I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? She looks back at her childhood, a small apartment, a father with a disability, a neighborhood facing challenges, and she realizes you can tell that story in two ways. It can be a story about what she lacked, or it can be a story about everything she had. Love, community, music. It's all about perspective. It's about the power you have to frame your own narrative. So in the end, the book doesn't just tell us her story. It turns the question back on us. It challenges every single one of us to look at our own lives with all the ups and downs and unexpected turns and to ask ourselves that one simple, powerful question. How do I choose to tell my story? That's it for this explainer. If you want more deep dives into the books and ideas that shape our world, you know what to do. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.